Hello, my name is Ugo Chukwuinigwe. I'm a senior biology major attending Morehouse College, and my group members as well as we did Jacksonville, Florida. First, we want to explain what a social determinant is. A social determinant of health, they are conditions in which people grow, are born, they work, live, and age, and the wider set of forces and systems shaping the conditions of people in their daily life. Next slide, please. For our area of population, that we did, the total population is 38,751. The total area in square miles is 19.83 miles, and the persons per square mile is 1,954. The ratio of populations and ethnic groups in the population for the non-Hispanic white, that's 15% of the population. For the black or African American, that's 80.34% of the population. And for Asian or other, that's 0.36% of the population. So this is my specific census tract, which is Census Tract 10. In my census tract, 71% of the population was male, which I found very surprising, very just shocking. 28% of the population is female, and in my specific census tract, it has a population of 4,621 people. Next slide, please. Okay, for my social determinant, I chose a lack of education or high school dropouts, and in my case, in my census, 33.23% of the population have no high school diploma, or 1/3 of the population, which is very shocking. So for every one person you meet out of 3, they will not have a diploma. From my research, I believe that this leads to an increased crime rate and increased levels of poverty. And over a lifetime, research states that dropouts usually earn less, they suffer from poorer health, and they're more likely to wind up in jail in comparison to their diploma-earning peers. Next slide, please. So a couple of interventions that I researched and I feel like are sufficient include, first, they come from the National Dropout Prevention Center and Network, which is a national organization that attempts to curb the dropout rate around the nation. And these are a couple of ideas and concepts they felt like were sufficient to bring down the dropout rate, and I felt like were applicable to my specific census tract. So one of the first things that they felt like you should do, or the organization of the area, the school system should do, would be first to intervene quickly. One of the issues that happens is that students, they kind of fall through the cracks. The students who are struggling, the students with issues, they fall through the cracks, and people don't reach out for them. They don't help them and attempt to support them till it's too late. Another thing is mentoring and tutoring, which I believe many of the other groups kind of mention mentoring and tutoring, and that's very important because it gives the student a model and an example of someone who's been in their space and someone who's gone through the things that they've gone through and is able to identify and support them, and I think it really encourages them to know that they can do it just like this other person who their mentor can. And I think it's also important to engage in after-school programs. The students normally, they wake up, they go to school, then they go home, and they're kind of surrounded by environments that aren't necessarily the most positive. So I believe, and from the research, I believe it states that engaging in after-school programs with these children and with the high school students, it would help to curb the dropout rate. And lastly, of course, the established high school graduation centers. For those who are over the age of 18, who are 19, 20, even 21, I think it's important to establish high school graduation centers so they feel like they're not out of place in high school. Like, imagine being like a 21 or 20-year-old young man or young woman in high school. You would feel out of place. You would feel just weird. It would be awkward. But I think high school graduation centers would be places where they would be surrounded by peers who have gone through what they've gone through, and who are able to identify with what they are able to identify, and who are in the same age range as they are. So thank you, and I'll pass it back over to the rest of my group.